Overflows. Trauma avoidance only makes things worse. Insights into Life, Love and Light by Nivedita. To explore our bodies and our body energy in whatsoever ways feels good is to unlock layers of memory that need to be reclaimed from centuries of rejection and judgment. To befriend our bodies is to discover what it feels like to be natural in a world that is unnatural. To come to our senses is to reclaim our birthright, our dignity, and our bliss. Body awareness is one of the simplest and most effective ways to silence the noise that is our mind and comes home to the true magic of who we are. Naturally, we try to avoid trauma out of ignorance, and this avoidance only makes things worse. Real healing from trauma can only come from within through the inner work of transformation and awareness. Conscious catharsis is the beginning of the process of changing energy. Without inner work, you will remain being afraid of the unknown, fearful, not looking for adventure, not looking for discovering new spaces. People who survived a traumatic event, such as an accident or natural disaster, while others did not, often experience a deep guilt that they can stay with them long after the event. It is called the survivor guilt. And there is dissent in scientific circles about how much this relates to actual guilt or to shame or to both. But with any traumatic event, it is likely that feelings of shame and guilt comes up. Particularly if we blame ourselves for what happened. The mind can resolve in endless circles. The mind can revolve in endless circles about what we could or should have done differently and how we could have prevented what happened. Our response depends on whether our personality is more shame or more guilt based, and also on the specific kind of trauma we are facing. To various degrees, a sense of guilt or self blame can impair our ability to function. Often, our mind will find endless reasons why we are guilty or responsible in one way or another. We actually may have certain real responsibilities for something that happened or have really made mistakes in responding to a particular situation. We may discover later in what way we were not aware or present and therefore contributed to this event. But this is not the point. It is the overwhelming, uncontrollable sense of guilt or shame that can be so difficult. The mind continues in a compulsive way to repeat the same thoughts in a useless attempt to gain control and rewrite the history of a past chain of events. It can be a combination of guilt and helplessness that is fueled by hyper arousal. but can often leave a person in depression and without energy. It is helpful to learn to acknowledge and accept such feelings as part of a response to trauma and find a way for the body to discharge its activation. Just as when dealing with other symptoms, one needs to process the grief and pain and all other feelings with compassion and love. It is also important to develop a meditative awareness and a deep understanding that we are all part of a cosmic drama in which we play a certain part and we are not in control of that. We often try to manage unresolved trauma through medication, self medication with addictions, or by intellectualizing our emotions and projecting our pain externally into various causes. But the effect of trauma but the effects of trauma remain in our nervous system and continue to run our lives unknowingly. Real healing from trauma arises only when the inner work of transformation through awareness happens. Regaining self-trust and coming home is important in overcoming traumatic effects. Traumatic events impair our ability to trust in existence. Even more devastating, our self-trust is undermined. Without this trust in ourselves and our own instincts and perceptions, we are adrift and remain open to further trauma. In this way, in this course of time, you learn to trust yourself again and learn how to nurture your own self-trust through meditation and the alchemical practice of witnessing. During the practice of meditation and an alchemical interaction, certain fluids are released. We try everything to remove the misery, but you forgot that misery was caused by your unawareness, your unconsciousness, and your ignorance of your own being. That was the cause. And unless that cause is removed, you will never have a taste of blissfulness, of ecstasy, of immortality, and of divineness of existence. We try everything to remove the misery, but you forgot that misery was caused by your unawareness, your unconsciousness, and your ignorance of your own being. That was the cause. And unless that cause is removed, you will never have a taste of blissfulness, of ecstasy, of immortality, of the divineness of existence. Trauma remains buried deep within as long as you continue to ignore your own being. Remember, trauma remains buried deep within as long as you continue to ignore your own being. There are certain symptoms of trauma buried within. issues around trust, particularly self trust, the obsessive need for control, panic attacks, hypervigilance, feeling overly responsible, high levels of self blame, unreasonable attempts to rescue others, difficulties in relationships and attachments, suicidal thoughts, feeling of worthlessness and ongoing depression, high levels of conflict avoidance, eating disorders and or self-harm, constantly feeling like a victim and overcoming, constantly feeling like a victim and overacting to perceived sights. Remember, trust is an inner eye. Regaining trust will transform your reality just as two outer eyes are for seeing the universe. There is a third eye inside of you whose name is trust. With this eye of trust, the divine is seen. The eye of the trust means the eye of love. There are some things which only love can know. There is no other way to know them. If you love someone, you will see certain things in the person that no one else will see. You will see in that person a sweetness that no one else can see. That sweetness is delicate, and the touch of love is needed for it only then revealed. Once you regain trust, it will transform your reality to overcome a new, healthier relationship with your body, mind, and emotions. It is necessary to release blocked energy and become more alive and flowing. Techniques for use in situations that would normally trigger shock or shame so that you can process them easily and naturally and return to inner balance. How to access your own inbuilt alchemical superpower of witnessing to transmute trauma into awareness and joy. The confidence to accept that life's challenges are not a sign that life is victimizing you, but a gift from existence that helps you to grow in awareness and love. To master the knack of remaining centered when life throws you a curveball. These are the things which will help you to grow and evolve out of traumatic conditions that life has, the life after life has imposed upon you.